Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now, a show where we get you all the stocks buzzing based on news flow as well as on technicals. And talking about technicals, now we have Nagaraj Shetti joining us on the show. A very good afternoon to you, Nagaraj. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Market Fatafat. And the first stock that you're going to talk about is Maharashtra. This one has already seen a spectacular rise, and not just this one actually, all the defense counters have already seen a very nice, smart rally coming in. Do you think that Maharashtra will continue with this sort of an up move, or do you think now it will hit the pause button for some time at least?
Hi, good afternoon. Look at the Maharashtra chart, long-term charts has been fantastic. This stock has witnessed a strong upside momentum recently before shifting into a consolidation moment over the last 5-6 weeks. I think the overall chart pattern is looking positive. Currently, the stock price is in an attempt to break above the strong resistance of around 2000 level, which has been a hurdle for the stock over the last 4-5 weeks. I'm expecting uptrend continuation for a pattern for this, and Maharashtra is likely to break above the 2000 level, which is a strong resistance. And after that, it has probability of reaching up to the next upside target of around 2225 levels.
1,225 levels is what we're watching out for from Maharashtra. That's the word from Nagraj. But let's move on and talk about Med Plus Health. And this one is in focus. Why? Because yesterday we spoke about a block deal happening there. Now we have the names of the buyers and the sellers over here. Now, yes, the seller, like we were talking about, one of them is Premji Investments PI Opportunity Fund, which is sold around 70 lakh shares at a price of 862. And the other one is Lavender Rose Investments, which also sold 70 lakh shares at 862. This is what we were expecting as well anyways. So yes, overall it's a 12% stake which is worth around 1,207 crores, which both these companies have sold. They were one of these initial investors in Med Plus Health as well. Now the buyers, they have come in are Fidelity Fund, Government of Singapore and Nippon India are some of the names that have come in as the buyers of this stake. So let's keep an eye out on Med Plus Health, today trading with gains of almost 2.8% as of now.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Bata and why is this particular counter in focus in today's trading session, because you have Ambit that has come out with a note on Bata where they are actually having a sell rating coming in on that particular counter. The target that they have actually set for Bata is at around 1,203 rupees per share. What Ambit is saying that is since FY19, Bata has been addressing its historical sore points through store revamp, building product simplicity and design, also improving a pace of its new launches. Along with that, add to that, they also have ad spends as well. But in light of this, the FY19-23 revenue CAGR of just 4%, despite 4% and 5% ASP as well as store addition, CAGR is actually disappointing is what they are noting. They conclude also missing pieces remain for this particular counter, that is matching store level demand with timely supplies, increasing their brand relevance as well as store staff incentivization. So they are not seeing basically the way how the company has moved ahead with its plans matching with the way how the company is growing. So therefore they are maintaining a sell rating on Bata. They've set a target price of 1,203 rupees and you can see the stock subdued in trade.
Let's move on to stock number 24 and Naveen Floridian Nagraj. That's the stock you've picked out for us. In the last 1 month, the stock has done precious little nothing when you look at it. What is your view now in terms of Naveen Floridian? What are the charts indicating?
Yeah, charts are indicating positive bias for the stocks. The stock has historically moved technically, we believe
I think we've got you on a very patchy line. We will come back to you or to take your view on Naveen Floridian in a short while once we get that rectified. But Harsh, for now, Genus Power, why is this one in focus?
Well, on the back of an order win, Cheryl, so Genus Power announced the win of a 2,247 crore order. And this is for appointment of advanced metering infrastructure service providers, which is what the order was for. It's been appointed as one of those. And this will include design of advanced metering infrastructure system with supply installation commissioning as well. This is for an order of around 24 odd lakh smart prepaid meters, and it also includes OT monitors. On the back of that, of course, it's a very strong and very large order for a 6,000 crore odd market cap company. So definitely positive. In fact, hitting the upper circuit today, up 5%.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, and that is HFCL. Rashesha, why is HFCL in focus today? What's the news for you?
Well, yes, the stock is in focus on the back of their fundraising plans. So yesterday, the company informed the exchanges that they have approved allotment of shares worth about 352 crores. This has been done via QIP at a price of 69 rupees per share, which is much below the current market price of 74.6. And they also say that Reliance Ventures, Quant Mutual Fund, Society Generale are some of the buyers or funds who have invested in the company via the QIP. So on the back of these fundraising plans that the company has informed the exchanges about, the stock is in focus. The stock was trading in the green earlier in the day but has now slipped into the red, nearly 2% lower in trade as we speak.
Let's move on, and actually Nagraj, coming back to you for Naveen Floridian, what is your view on this one? What is the target that you're keeping on this one?
Yeah, Naveen Floridian chartically has been going in a pattern that we believe technically higher tops and higher bottoms are indicating the strength of an uptrend. This underlying trend of the Naveen Floridian remains strong. Previously, we have seen the stock price has witnessed a breakout of the downsloping trend lines in between after showing corrections. Recently, we have seen a significant amount of correction in the last few months for this stock price, and currently the stock is making an attempt of breaking above the 4600 levels. I'm expecting upside momentum from here, and I'm expecting the stock to reach up to the next overhead resistance of around 4950 levels in the next few weeks.
What we should keep an eye out on those levels over there for Naveen Floridian. But let's move on and talk about NCC. Now, NCC is in focus today because they've come out with a number that they've said that they've received 4 orders worth around 8,398 crore rupees, and this is only in the month of August 2023. So strong order book, strong order wins is keeping the stock abuzz. 4 orders that they've already won in the month of August, and seems like it's a very it was something that excited the street as well. We saw a sharp jump up coming in the stock in the early morning trade. As of now, holding on to gains of around 0.7%. But let's not forget, because in the month of August only itself and last 1 week specifically, the stock was up as much as 12.3%, and in the last 1 month, the stock has gained almost 11% as well. Strong order wins in the month of August is keeping NCC in focus today.
All right, that is NCC for you. But let's talk about MRPL, Nagaraj, and this particular counter. A lot of news flow surrounding this one. But on the charts, technically, how does MRPL actually look to you, given the fact that a lot is dependent on the way how the crude also moves, and also not to forget the windfall tax as well?
Yes, of course. Chartically, it has been looking strong, very strong on the charts. Long-term charts are looking positive. What we observe is a consistent up move over the last 3-4 months. Recently, it has witnessed upside breakout of bullish flag pattern. Normally, bullish flag patterns are technically they are believed as a trend continuation pattern. Certainly, this stock is in a good, strong uptrend, and we expect this stock to move up further. So, next overhead resistance to be watched is around 115 levels.
All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about the IT sector as a whole. IT sector also was in focus because you have the Kotak that has actually come out with this note on the IT space, and it's not the large cap IT counters that has actually come out with this note on. It's actually come out with this note on the mid cap IT companies. They've initiated coverage on Cyient with a buy rating. They have initiated coverage on Persistent with an add rating and a sell rating coming in for Tata Elxsi, and you can see the stock is subdued along with sell rating for Tata Elxsi. KPIT Tech also, they have a sell rating on that particular counter as well. For Persistent, what they are saying is their high growth potential deserves premium valuation. Also, they are saying they expect differential to narrow between L&T Tech as well as Cyient. They're saying that the Cyient is trading at a more reasonable valuation, and re-rating therefore will be justified for this particular counter. They're saying fair value implies 23 to 25% downside for KPIT Tech as well as Tata Elxsi, and they are saying that at Tata Elxsi the current market price actually builds in a 19% dollar revenue CAGR over 23-25. So yes, that's Kotak initiating a coverage on the mid-cap IT counters where they have a sell rating on Tata Elxsi and KPIT, and buy rating for Cyient, add rating for Persistent.
Let's move on and talk about then Maharashtra Seamless, Nagraj. That's the stock that you've picked out for us on the charts and technicals. This one is trading at a multi-year high as of now. And, last 6 months also, it is just, that momentum of gains has continued 80%, 75 to 80% returns in the last 6 months. So what should one do now with Maharashtra Seamless? Is it time to actually start booking out your profits?
I think overall chart patterns indicating that one should continue with the positions right now. The upside momentum is likely to continue for some more period. Even though it has placed at the higher levels, still there is no indication of any tiredness or a reversal pattern building up at the higher levels. Though it has showing upside breakout of the current range moment, I'm expecting this to move up for further next overhead resistance, which comes to be around 620 levels.
Harsh, let's talk about 5-star. We know that there were block deals taking place on this particular counter. We also spoke to the management. So first tell us, was the news flow surrounding 5-star? Next we'll hear what the management also said.
Well, yes, 2.5 crore shares exchanged, as you correctly pointed out, Cheryl. So roughly 8% of 5-star, 8.5% of 5-star's equity exchanging or changing hands in 2 bunch trades. Of course, there were reports of private equity investors exiting in any case. So the likes of Sequoia, Matrix, TPG, Norwest, all of which are in line to sell their stake. But the understanding currently is that Sequoia has not sold out. So when we spoke with the management, they told us that Sequoia has not sold out. More blocks will come through in the next few months going forward. Of course, it was a large block, but the positive there, which the management really highlighted, was that it was fully subscribed. There was enough and more investor interest in 5-star even at this price. So the overhang of 5-star with regard to PE holding, not really completely gone away. And of course, what they are also suggesting is that they are confident of reporting strong financial numbers and not really doing any fresh capital raise. They have enough capital. So of course, the key overhang at the moment will be the block deals or the private equity investors which need to exit going forward.
Blocks are going to come over the next few months, next quarter. But what is extremely good for us also to know is that it has been a very good coordinated effort. It's not been a small block. We have seen inflations in the past, right? So we have seen inflations of 8% and all that has hit us. Which is not going to hit us, as we see. So we don't really see inflationary pressures hitting us. Our spreads are already at very high levels. Our NIMs are at high levels. So, a 25 basis points increase in the cost of funds is not actually going to make any big dent to our profitability at all. So we are continuing to be bullish on the growth outlook, on the asset quality outlook, and the profitability outlook that we have given the market.
Let's move on and talk about Balmer Lorry and Nagraj on the charts. How is this one looking like? Today it's seeing gains of 9%. Last 6 months also has seen good returns of around 45%. What is your view on this one now?
Yeah, it has been continuously moving up higher tops, higher bottoms. It has taken the support of 10 and 20-day EMA, chartly looking very positive. Witnessed breakout of the recent downward sloping trend line and consolidation around 158, 160 levels. The overall chart pattern, even rise in volume was also seen with upsloping positive RSI. The overall chart pattern is indicating for the stock to move further, and I'm expecting the next upside resistance to be watched around the 180 levels for the stock.
Srisha, let's talk about Kalpataru Projects then. What's the news flow surrounding this stock?
Exited out of a joint venture which was reflected by the company as very important, and hence the stock is in focus today. It is under pressure, 0.7% lower in trade. So the company said that they've exited a joint venture which was pursuing transmission EPC project in Australia, and on the back of this, JM Financials has come out with a note where they say that they believe this is a setback for the company, but backlog or our order backlog continues to remain healthy, and perhaps that could be a positive for the stock going forward. This project was reflected by the company as very important, especially because it was in a developed market like Australia. As far as their order book position is concerned, as on the 30th of June, company had an order backlog of about 47,300 crores. So on the back of this joint venture, which the company does not enter into right now, the stock is in focus, 0.7% lower in trade for the stock.
Let's move on to stock number 35 for today, and that is Samvardhana Motherson Samuel, as we know it as. Nagraj, what are the charts indicating for this one? Surely, post April, we're seeing a sharp run-up that has come in and a pickup that has come in the stock. 21% return in the last 6 months. What is the upside now we should expect?
Yes, over the last few weeks, it has been in a narrow band, larger consolidation band around 57, 58 on the upper side, 60, 61 levels. This week, it has witnessed a significant upside breakout since actually the upside breakout has started since last session. And I'm expecting overall chart pattern is looking very positive, and this stock to move towards the next resistance of around 75 levels.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, and that is BSE that is in focus today. Let's keep an eye on this one. We are seeing that the board has actually increased the offer price for its proposed share buyback and also fixed the record date for the same as well. Now, the share buyback price that they've fixed has been increased now to 1,080 rupees. Previously, it was 816 rupees earlier. So, yes, after this, we've seen a sharp jump up coming in the stock price as well. As of now, trading with gains of around 5.5% on the back of this news flow, keeping an eye out on BSE.
All right, moving on, Nagraj, let's talk about Deepak Fertilizers, because we saw all of these fertilizer companies actually hit a rough patch, and yes, Deepak Fertilizer also is a part of that pack. 5% downtick in the last 6 months. Only in the last 1-2 weeks, this one has actually seen some sort of a jump coming in. Do you think it will be able to sustain that minor bounce back that it has seen?
Look at the chart of a long-term weekly chart. This stock has been in a continuous downtrend over the last many months, and recently it has formed a base, very strong base around 540 to 535 levels, and showing consolidation from there. I'm expecting an important bottom reversal around 540, and the stock is currently making an attempt of moving above the resistance which are of the last 7-8 months around the 600-605 levels. The overall sentiment is positive, chart pattern is positive, and there is a higher possibility that this stock could move above the 605, 610 level and could sustain on the back of volume as well as the positive overall sentiments. I'm expecting this stock to reach up to the 690 to 700 level, which is the next set of important resistance on the upside breakout.
All right, let's move on then, and let's talk about IDFC First Bank. I made sure that Harsh doesn't only take all the block deals
Let's
today.
not please accuse him for everything. First you would say banks are now block deals. That's not his fault, okay? That's all that is available.
Absolutely, but yes, I managed to take IDFC First Bank before he could also think about it. 4.2% equity actually changed hand via block deal today for IDFC First Bank. A huge, sizable block deal coming in for that particular counter. You can see the stock has now recovered in trade, 0.3% uptick coming in for IDFC First Bank. It will be very crucial to actually find out who are the buyers and the sellers of this particular block deal. Right now, we do not have that information, but 4.2% equity definitely changed hands on the bourses, and the stock right now is muted but with the positive bias.
Let's move on and also listen in to what Sameer Arora, founder and fund manager at Helios Capital, had to say in terms of the bankings as well as this financial space and what his views are coming in on the sector.
Broadly, in a big picture sense, if you look at our history, it'll be 50 to 60% large cap. Because, we like the big fellows, which is the banks. Mm-hmm. The urban is doing well. And mostly these loans are going to urban guys or to the salaried guys or to the guys who are earning more. And also, we are not saying, and nobody is saying that this is forever, that the rural is gone forever, then elections would be decided on these things. So we are talking right now in a big picture sense that if you look at the fact that the banking sector is strong and doing well and hasn't done anything for at least now the calendar year and maybe even some part of last year, and it's a big part of the market, and you are getting foreign flows, and you can buy things like HDFC Bank at 3-year-old prices. It is the easiest thing for the world to do. And in whatever way you say it, if somebody is overweight or underweight, they will buy maybe 25% financials. Many people do well over 1 to 3 year period, but then they are not able to sustain. So somebody else starts doing well or a new sector. So that we all believe, and you also believe, I think, that private sector banks have created a lot lot of wealth. Only two stocks, HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank. There was Global Trust Bank and Times Bank and Bank of Punjab and Centurion Bank and RBL Bank and Yes Bank and God knows all private sector banks. And they've done very badly, you know. Bandhan also has not done super well. But looking at the older guys, so the point is that the long term is very difficult to see, and you have very low ability to see the long term separately anyway.
Let's move on and go across to Harsh. And Federal Mogul is a stock that you picked out for us. Harsh, why is this one in focus? What's the news flow?
Well, yes, positive news on the back of some amount of clearance given with regard to their plant. I'll give some backdrop. You had Punjab Pollution Control Board by this communication dated 18th August, which decided to revoke the consent to operate granted to the Patiala plant of the company. The company had already taken remedial measures and had factored in the observations of the board. The company then, approached the Honorable NGT, which is the tribunal, against the said communication of the PPCB, and the tribunal has now allowed the continuation of operations of the Patiala plant until the next date of the hearing. So at least there is some amount of interim relief of sorts which has been given to the company, and on the back of that you can see some positivity on the stock right off from the start of the day all the way till now, up around 1/3% or so.
All right, moving on. Nagraj, pretty light. That's the counter that you are tracking on the charts. How are the charts looking for this one?
Chart is not looking conducive. The stock has been underperformed the last many weeks and currently placed at the strong support of around 2500 levels, and expecting this support to be broken in the near term. The overall chart pattern is looking weak, and during this bull market, I'm surprising this stock has been not been moving well with other peers are working very well. So I'm expecting further weakness, downside breakout of 2490, 2480 levels, and on that front, I'm expecting the stock to come down to the next support of around 2350 levels in the near term.
Okay, let's move on. Nagraj, coming back to you, GMM Pfaudler is that other stock that you picked up for us on the technicals. What are the charts now indicating for GMM Pfaudler? Last 6 months has done pretty much nothing. Is it something that now we could expect a run up to come?
Exactly. Over the last 6-7 months, this has been moving in a narrow band of around 1600 on the upper side and 1450, 1470 on the lower side. This has done nothing in the last 6-7-8 months. That technically it has witnessed upside breakout recently and witnessed some consolidation, again moving up. The overall chart pattern is looking very positive. It has not only moving above the consolidation pattern, but also the strong resistance of 10 and 20 big EMAs, and volume is also expanding during upside breakout. The overall picture sentiment is looking positive for the stock, and I'm expecting the recent swing low of 1400 is expected to be a strong bottom reversal for the stock, and a gradual rounding bottom type of pattern is also happening. On that front, I'm expecting this stock to move towards the next resistance of around 1850, 1870 levels in the next 1 to 2 months.
So that is the take coming on GMM Pfaudler. With that, we come to the end of this edition of Market Fatafat. Thank you so much, Nagraj, Vaishali, as well as Harsh and Hashesha for joining us on the show, taking our viewers through all the stocks that are moving in trade. And with that, we come to the end of this week's edition of Market Fatafat. So it's a goodbye from Winnie, myself, our producer Soma Snehi, as well as our director Trevor. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.